Welcome back, guys. Welcome to my stock market technical analysis channel. I didn't put out a video yesterday because the market's just really going nowhere, and that's expected. We've got major earnings coming out Thursday after the bell, and I did expect the market to just chop around a little bit, kind of go into a holding pattern over the next couple days until we get those major earnings. The reason why I'm going to put out a video today is not so much that anything's changed from the technical perspective of the charts. I think we're still set up for some major moves, and I'll cover those setups. And that's really the point. I want everyone to be able to understand what the setups potentially are, and then on Friday, be able to read the price action and potentially understand what the price action means against the bigger picture setups and how those actually are going to play out, and then potentially take positions and take advantage of it. So let's go through it. Give me a thumbs up if you guys find value in the content I'm putting out. That's encouraging, and I'll continue to put that out. Here we go. We've got Nasdaq futures here. We've got a little bit of a downtrend channel. You can see we've been just walking down this this trend line right here. I've got a lot of horizontal lines. Those just tell me the kind of the horizontal supports where we're at. As of right now, we're just kind of chopping up and down within this, but we got this downtrend channel. So I'd expect, we're just going to continue to probably work our way around this area. Maybe we break out a little bit. Again, any kind of breakout that you get before Friday, because the major earnings of Google, Apple, Amazon, all those major earnings are coming out Thursday after the bell. Facebook, I believe, is in there. And so any breakout that you get before that, I wouldn't trust it. That's just me. I don't trust any breakouts before major earnings. And major institutions aren't going to be moving. They're not going to move big amounts of money and take big positions before such a major earnings report on Thursday after the bell. So any breakout is going to be on low volume. It's going to be just... It can be easily erased, so don't trust it, and that's what you watch for. So I suspect we continue to chop around until Thursday. Nasdaq futures. So here's the SPY futures. You can see it's just ramping up a little bit. This is probably the end of the move for today. I wouldn't expect this to go much higher. There it is right there. And I do think that this will probably stop right around here and move lower. So Qs is interesting. We've been walking up this trend line right here on the hourly chart. You can see it. We've been walking up that trend line, and right now we're just still kind of holding there. We're just grinding along that trend line right here, just chopping around within the area. So Thursday after the bell, you're either going to get a gap up, which will continue the trend higher, or we're going to get probably a gap down, which will break the support, and you'll probably get a gap and crap, basically, where it gaps down and sells off. If the market perceives the earnings as negative, you're going to get that gap down, and that's a pretty good setup if it actually does gap down, because you're going to, let me go to the daily to kind of show you. If it gaps down, you could potentially gap, depending on where you gap, you could easily trap months worth of money right here. This has been 52 days, almost 2 months. You could easily gap down around here. I don't know where it's going to gap down to. Could gap down big, could gap down small. I just don't know. But if it gaps down, you're going to trap some money, and you're going to break support right here. So it would at least capture this amount of trading, which is about a month's worth of trading right here on a gap down. Now there's negative divergence, so we got to watch that. You can see on the daily, you've got the negative divergence on the daily charts, in the PPO or MACD, and also the RSI. So the momentum is fading, and that's what this says. This says this uptrend is still an uptrend. You've got the trend line right here, but the momentum is fading. You're waiting for the sell signal and the catalyst. That could be this earnings report. And could be today even with the Fed. I don't know, but again, any kind of breakdowns or breakouts before those earnings is just something to not fully trust or believe in. Unless you get some kind of volume, major volume, I just wouldn't trust it. So that's what we got going on. If we break down And the momentum indicators are telling us we're going to break down. Let's look at the weekly chart here. If we break down, this trend line right here is your channel, this is the upper end of your channel, your price channel. This is your bull market in the tech sector. This is the upper end of the price channel right here. We've overshot that in what looks like kind of a blow off top. And if we gap down and start to sell off and recover this trend line right here, which will fall, this week would fall around 253. So recapture of 253 would be bearish, and that should set this up for more selling weeks. This is the weekly chart, so we have to wait till the end of close on Friday to see if this is going to sell off and recapture the 253. Let's move over to the SPY. Hourly chart on the SPY, yeah, just kind of breaking higher a little bit. Here's your island top reversal. Looks like we're breaking above it. Again, this is a move that's taking place right before the Fed and right before major earnings. Looks like a whipsaw move to me. I suspect this gets faded today, and we'll have to watch that. They might even pop it all the way up to 326, and then earnings comes out tomorrow, on Thursday after the close, and they dump. I don't know, but any move that's making a move right before such major things in the market should not be trusted. And it's on low volume, of course. It definitely, see, here's your volume. So there's no volume on this move. It's just not something you'd believe in. So again, it's all about the low volume, coupling the low volume with the move right before the earnings and understanding what's happening. It's not a stock's moving higher on low volume is not a big deal. Stocks can move higher on low volume, but to move higher on low volume and break above a little resistance level right before major events take place, that's the price action that you should be suspicious of. Here's gold bullion. I've got this hourly price channel marked out. We broke to the upside, we broke to the downside, we recovered the channel, and now we've started to drift out of the channel. This channel is starting to get a little, a little flexible, I would say. And so we got to watch that. I think gold's set up for a move down for some sort of a sell-off. And the dollar, here's the dollar. I think the dollar's primed for a move, if I go to the daily, for a pop back up to this resistance line. So I think that's the move. I think we'll run up and test this resistance line and either recapture it or fail. I don't know which one. But, as of right now, we have a breakdown in the dollar below major support. As I roll out on the daily, there's your major support going back to 2011. So this is the price support it's been in. We broke down right here, but I do think we're probably primed for a kickback rally to at least test support, and then maybe it's going to fail and continue lower. But that would most likely bring a sell-off in gold. So we'll watch that. No sell signals yet in gold, no buy signals in the dollar. There's nothing there. Everything's waiting till Thursday, I believe, or potentially the Fed, but most likely I think it's Thursday after the close. Okay, let's look at some sectors. Here's XLV. XLV has been trading sideways. We've started to lift off a little bit, but right now we're at resistance. So you can see on the daily chart, we've got a reaction here, reaction right in here, and then we're at that resistance again. If I go to the hourly, give you a little bit more of an acute viewing of this, you can see here, right there at resistance. So we already overshot it once and failed. It's doing a kickback. So this should hold as resistance. And if it does, if you get that signal, probably going to come on Thursday after the close, then I think this is set up to roll down to support. And support, major support, right now, sitting at about 97, 96.85. So that's the move that I see in this one. And that would be, about a 9.5% drop. And then we'll have to evaluate what happens, and look at the other markets at that point. XLF, you can see they're doing the recovery job again. They're, this thing, it's just funny how they continue to try to recover this thing. So here's your trend line right here in XLF. You can see we held support here. We held support all through here, started to break down, and it was a whipsaw signal. They recovered it. Then we just grinding along support again, breaking down, recovered it. So that's the second whipsaw signal in this thing that they've given, where they've broken down and then recovered it. So just something to watch. But again, this is a breakdown that's taking place before major market moving events on Thursday. And so again, you don't want to trust any kind of breakdowns out of major levels right before earnings like that. So that's exactly what we saw. If you took that breakdown, it proved to be a whipsaw signal. So again, we're just holding support, kind of just holding right there. I suspect it'll continue to grind. It might start to drift sideways or just grind until tomorrow after the close. Tech sector, XLK. So tech broke its support line, and Q's has not broke, but tech broke. And here is the hourly chart. It's been walking up this really since April, and we broke. This breakdown really came when Microsoft reported earnings and the market sold Microsoft off. So you got the breakdown. Now we've just been chopping sideways, kind of grinding higher a little bit, waiting for those other fangs to report. And whatever they report is going to set and stage this next move. So if they report and you get a big update, maybe this recovers the support and gaps way up here. If they report bad, then you're going to gap down. We just don't know. So a sell signal actually already came on this back here. When you broke support, that's your sell signal. And if we gap up right to, maybe we gap right up to this, do a back test, and then it fails. So that's your objective area to add to a short, or it just gaps down. Here's Zoom. This one's interesting. This continues to look pretty weak to me. So you can see, price action today is just kind of selling off. They popped it up, sold it off, popped it up, sold it off. So it keeps getting sold down during the market. So I don't know. We're going to have to see. But to me, this looks like it wants to at least come down and tag support, and then we'll have to evaluate. For me, the trade is to, I'm short this, and I'm looking for a move down to the support. And if you can easily mark that out. Here's your hourly chart. You can see that we've held support. And so I'm looking for a move down to tag support. We'll probably get a reaction right there at support. And I'll most likely take the trade off if we tag support. So that's kind of the trade for this one. Just a nice clean drop down to support. And from here where we're at, that's a, depending on when we get there, 9.5%, 10% trade. So that's what I'm looking for on that one. Philip Morris, and then I'll probably wrap up. Philip Morris here is something I pointed out as a potential long, and so far looks good. Again, this is the breakout. The thing is, I don't quite trust it because of the major market moves that are going to take place on Thursday after the close. We're starting to break out on the weekly, just starting to creep above it. It's not that impulsive though. And if I go to the daily here, or on the weekly, you can see major resistance right here. And we're starting to creep above it, but it's all happening right before those major market movers are going to report. And you can see it's not impulsively breaking out. It's just creeping above it. So I don't like that. I don't trust that. I'd prefer to wait till after earnings and see what this wants to do. Maybe it gaps up. If it gaps up and, if it gaps up and can hold, that's bullish. This thing looks like it's primed for a breakout and a move out of this downtrend, this downward channel. But if it can't hold that, then it's gonna break back down within the channel. So I'm gonna probably wait. I think it's better to just be prudent and wait. If it breaks out, then you've got there's lots of levels we can target, but 80 looks like about 90 right here. Looks like a kind of the next level, and if it breaks above that, you've got a gap right here sitting at 177. So I would say that's your next level. So somewhere right in there is probably going to be the target if it wants to break higher, and that's a 30% gain. So it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but that'll be the trade idea to go long this if it wants to break out. Again, I'm going to wait till after Thursday to see what happens. That's all I got, guys. I'll wrap it up here. Keep it short. Thank you, and I'll catch you on the next one.